Let's talk about the NHL draft, and specifically two things. Where are the Islanders going to be selecting at the 2022 NHL draft, and what kind of caliber of player we might expect to get from that draft pick? As always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me grow the channel and reach more Islanders fans. Today what we're going to be doing is looking at the NHL draft, and specifically where the Islanders are going to be selecting and what kind of caliber of player we could expect to pull from that draft pick. There's two things that we won't be doing in this video. We're not going to be looking at the NHL draft lottery, so what that means for the Islanders if they do win or not or whatever. Anything related to NHL draft lottery is not happening in this video, and we're not going to be looking at individual players that are available at this draft. When I'm talking about the caliber of player available, it's more of the concept, and you'll see when I get to it. So first things first, where are the Islanders drafting when it comes to the 2022 NHL draft? Well, as it stands today, April 27th, the Islanders are selecting 13th overall. Again, not factoring in any sort of draft lottery. So as it stands now, just assume the draft lottery was about as chalk as it can be. Montreal won the first one. Arizona got the second one. Everyone else stays the same. So as it stands now, Islanders are picking 13th. Is there a possibility that they either move up, so further up the draft table, or down? Yes, but not by much. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of games left on the regular season as it stands right now as I'm recording this April 27th. But there is a possibility that they, being the Islanders, leapfrog the Winnipeg Jets. They're only behind them by 1 point. There's also the possibility that the Islanders get leapfrogged by the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are behind, let's say behind the Islanders by 3 points. So if Columbus wins their next two games and the Islanders don't, Columbus could leapfrog the Islanders, and the Islanders could select 12. So there is a possibility, again, I'm going to repeat it a number of times, excluding the draft lottery, that the Islanders pick either 12, 13, or 14. Now, what does that mean for the caliber of player the Islanders might be getting? So what I did to address that question, or to try to address that question, is I looked back at 5 draft classes. So from 2015 through to 2019, I looked at picks 10 through 16. So a plus minus 3 differential from where we expect the Islanders to be drafting today. And I looked at those players that are, again, selected from 10 to 16 to figure out a few things. The few things that I tried to figure out is, what type of production might we expect from a pick at that level? And how many years would it take for them to get to the NHL level from their selection, from the draft itself? And so what I did is I split it based off position. There was only one goalie selected. That was Spencer Knight in 2019. So just forget about him entirely. We're going to look at forwards and defense. And I split it that way because, well, it's not really fair to average out production for defensemen and forwards from the draft because of, well, a few factors really. Forwards produce more than defensemen typically, and it also usually takes longer for defensemen to get to the NHL level than it does forwards. So here are the things that I found out from that, is that if it's a forward, the average production or expected production rate that we can see from that forward is 43 points, about 44 points actually if I round up. So we're looking at a 44-point player probably, this is again average, from a 10 to 16, and it'll take about 2.2 years on average to get to the NHL level. For defensemen, we're looking at 32 points and 2.1 years before they get to the NHL, which I'm kind of surprised about. I thought it would be a lot later for defensemen, but you got guys like Chychrun who jumped to the NHL immediately. So what does that mean for the Islanders? Well, 2 years before they hit the NHL, right? So that pick does us no good for at least 2 years. There are the odd chance that you get a guy that jumps right into the NHL. There's only one player in this entire list that I looked at that made the jump immediately to the NHL, and that was Jakob Chychrun. Outside of that, minimum 1 year to hit the NHL, but on average, 2.2 to 2.1 for defensemen. So again, with that pick, it does nothing for us this year and maybe even next year. So for a team like the Islanders who are looking to get back into Stanley Cup contention, getting a pick that's only going to be good in 2 years is, well, great for someone like me who follows prospects, but doesn't really move them forward in their attempt to reach that goal as soon as possible. And that's something that we have to consider. Thank you for following. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button. And if you have, thank you, thank you, thank you.